Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is entitled Birdshead, and this is episode 2. It was written by our very own Doctor of Anthropology, Mick Swan, who is also our GM, and the recap will be given by Thomas McKeon. So sit back and imagine the tropical heat of the South Seas. The players are ready. Let's begin our journey into the darkness. Tom?
Thanks, Tom. Our adventure starts aboard a tanker leaving from America and headed to Papua New Guinea, a land untouched. A group of explorers, hired by George Jeffreys of Miskatonic University, including Arthur Morton, P. Joe Neal, Damian Donovan, Jack Adu, John White, and Sharon Chase. All are experts in fields such as archaeology, cartography, and the applied sciences. But what they all yearn for is adventure. Papua New Guinea in the 1920s was just beginning to be colonized by European empires, and much of the interior had been uncharted. Such is the case for the Birdshead Peninsula, which holds the secrets of this untouched tropical island. Our adventurers have been hired out to chart, map, and investigate the region, which includes possibly making contact with the indigenous people and avoid the perils of disease, poisonous animals, and the elements. The group left America for a 5-week journey and landed in Panama, where they stocked up on supplies and booze. A large majority of the group took to gambling, drinking, and sex, while one of the group, Arthur, stayed in his cabin reading stories. There, he reads a footnote in one of his journals about a local tribe on the peninsula that have a legend of another tribe of white-skinned individuals who hide at any encounter with outsiders. Whether or not this is true, who knows? Maybe we'll learn more about that soon. As the ship leaves the port in Panama, the group sailed towards Darwin, Australia, the next stop on their journey into the unknown. Foreboding.
Your turn, Mick.
There's just a momentary pause right now while I realise that I haven't queued up the map that I needed. Rather foolishly. And
Guys, I think our captain is lost. Are you sure we're in Darwin?
I think we're almost in Darwin.
well, when we left you last time, you had just headed out into the South Seas, and I believe you were practicing your various skills and things.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So after some time, you've now passed through French Polynesia in the last couple of weeks, and making slow progress. They seem to be stopping off at quite a few islands. No one's bothering to go ashore. They're just refueling. I mean, you can go ashore if you want to, but at the moment, you find yourself somewhere between just Samoa, as it was then, sorry. Somewhere between Samoa and Fiji. In fact, if you were to ask the captain, he'd probably give you a better idea of where exactly you are, but...
That is a good question.
So, Cap, where are we?
He tells you that you are somewhere to the north of an island called Niafu.
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 Sometimes, Captain, I think you're just making this shit up as we go along.
Not far from Tonga, he says, but we're not going anywhere near there.
Tonga.
Any particular reason why? It's just not on our route?
Yeah, it's just you're heading due west, and it's to the south of where you are.
I
So
see.
it's only a tiny little island.
And what day is it today? I keep forgetting to look at my calendar.
It is. You've just passed Samoa, so you're now at the 31st of July.
Of July.
Yes, you left the coast of South America on the 11th of July.
Well, quite honestly, I didn't think it'd get any hotter than Texas in July, but holy crap.
Oh, you're probably in the
Certainly is
tropics. I mean,
muggy.
it's a bit on the hot side, but on the other hand, you are at sea, and if you're in the shade, it's not bad.
True.
But standing out in deck in direct sunlight is a bit sweltering, to say the least.
Yeah, it can be pretty hot.
Yeah, I'm glad I packed this big brimmed sun hat that I brought along.
Other than the fact that you're making good time, you're heading west, bound for Fiji, nothing much is happening, to be honest.
Sharon, you're getting quite good at that shooting stuff.
You know, I'm trying. I learned fast.
How you doing with the knife throwing?
I'm
doing
sorry.
pretty
Knife
good.
throwing?
Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
right. He's practicing the knife throwing.
I thought he was showing you how to throw a knife.
Well, you've been spending all your time teaching me how to shoot. How can I be in two places at once?
Well, I ain't spending all my time. And who taught you how to play chess? You're quite accomplished.
You know,
I don't usually lose so many times.
You know, I have a boyfriend back home, Jake. Smart guy. He's the one who taught me mostly.
Your boyfriend lets you go off on this long adventure? Is he a fiance?
Not yet. No, unfortunately. I'm hoping.
Well, I suppose men go to war and scientists go to Papua New Guinea.
Apparently so.
Scientists go to silent.
Where did scientists go? Captain?
Science.
Sorry, I've just woken up. What the hell am I going on about? Well, other than that, yes, nothing happens today. It's a dull Thursday at sea.
Snakes, what are you up to?
Yeah, where's our
shaking your head at me?
where's our anthropologist friend? Maybe he knows some interesting stories about Fiji.
You mean
Yeah,
Bowers?
we should definitely bring him up here. He's been in his books the whole time.
Yeah, he's just sitting down reading. He's not even getting to know us.
Well, some people are just that way.
True. I don't know. It's just not mentally healthy to be so involved in your books and never to talk to people, I think.
I think it's probably just about time that he runs out of books. Because
Do I run out of books?
he's going to have read
Does he
them,
run out of books?
read them.
Thomas, make a luck roll.
Oh, God damn it. How many books did I bring? I thought I brought a lot of them. I didn't want to talk to
You
these
brought a
assholes.
whole steamer trunk full of books.
Ooh, I passed.
You're
You
constantly
Yeah,
got a
you
whole
did.
steamer trunk full of books.
Oh, he's about a third of the way through War and Peace at the moment.
Yeah, man. War and Peace.
Yeah,
that's a good...
and he's still got the Decameron and
Oh.
manuscript found in Saragossa to go.
You didn't tell me he brought fiction.
I brought everything.
I thought he just brought anthropology books.
I brought
Well,
everything,
man cannot live on scientific nonfiction reading alone.
Well,
Yeah,
I
man.
wouldn't know. I'm not really a
Weight
scientist.
allowances book.
I've got a piece of paper, and I've been doing my practicing on my map drawing, and it's like every week or so, I'm like, oh, there goes a little piece of rock over there. Yeah, done.
Just mark it on the map.
Well, there's quite a few little things like that around here. I mean, they're just to the north of where you are currently.
They seem to mostly be like little coral islands or something like that.
Yeah, they're a lot of them are just. Oh, my mind has gone completely
Little
blank. I can't remember the
volcanoes.
word. Oh,
Atolls.
atolls. Yes. There's a lot of atolls around
On the
here,
ship?
and a lot of volcanic islands. But every now and then you'll get volcanic eruptions in the region, and you'll get sort of just
Ooh.
what they call false islands, which are just floating pumice.
That'd be very exciting. I wonder if we'll actually see a far-off explosion from one of those volcanoes.
Let's hope not. Because if you can see it, it's not far enough away.
Mick, what kind of amenities do we have on the ship?
Is there a gym?
There's no gym. No.
I think it's just a shipping ship.
It's basically a cargo ship with a few. It's got 8 cabins, and you're occupying 6 of them.
You know the thing that's really,
really?
popular nowadays.
One of the empty ones, for some reason, is full of old toilets.
Why?
You know the thing that's really
A lot of old urinals. They're not dirty. They're just. I guess they're transporting them and had nowhere else to put them. But there's about sort of half a dozen urinals made by the Armitage Shanks company.
Oh my god.
That fine English manufacturer of porcelain bathroom wear.
I know that one of the sailors, Four-Fingered John, will challenge you to mumbly peg.
They won't be happy if you're putting
Nobody
holes in his back.
I mean,
Why is he four-fingered? Because he didn't.
Oh, he's not very good at mumbly pig.
Jeff, you were going to say something?
it's okay.
He said, "Mwah." Well, yeah. We can go downstairs and drill some holes in the floor and see what happens. Pretty
Well,
exciting.
what will happen if you drill holes in the floor? What will happen is the first mate will come and slap you. That's you can guarantee that will probably happen. It's not a cruise ship. They're
And
not
then-
a sort of friendly, forgiving crew. They're quite terse old sea dogs.
and then the crew will shove you overboard for mutiny, is what will happen.
There's 1 or 2 younger members of the crew that you see milling about.
Well,
Anyway,
Um,
so
should
I
we
don't.
should we do any kind of roll for like stir crazy?
Well, I'm going to go talk to Dr. Morton. You guys can go stir crazy. I want to see if he knows anything interesting about these islands and their peoples and their lore and their history.
Well, I mean, you can. I think if you wish, voluntarily, you could make a sanity roll if you wanted to establish whether or not this time is.
Did you make a sandy roll there, Tom?
I did, but I got a 13, so I'm fine.
Well, if you're doing it, I'll do it too.
Fine, if everybody's rolling sanity. And
I'm
I got a
still
9,
hungover.
so I'm fine.
I'm
It's
just
all the
lounging about.
skipping.
I'm just like, I've been shooting off the back of the deck. I'm fine.
I'm fine. I got a 13.
I'd say if anyone were to fail, you'd only lose 1 sanity point. But it's not that it's not that you feel unbalanced or anything. It's just that you've been on this ship for such a very long time that it's like cabin fever. The urge to go outside, the urge to be off the ship is almost irresistible.
Yeah,
There'd be just a nagging voice in the back of your head that says, "Well, maybe I could just go for a quick swim."
And
It'll
we're
be
not.
right. It'll be fine. It'll be perfectly all right. I can easily keep up with the ship.
Just fine.
Well, I can tell you one fact about this ship, that if you start at the very front of the ship and walk all the way to the back of the ship, there are 4,972 planks in that floorboard as you're going along there.
You've
And
spent
their
a
names-
lot of
Their names,
Time.
their names John and Mike and Dawn and Louise, and got 4,000. Yes, I'm really bored.
Mick,
Maybe
are there
you
any
could go take a break, Pijo.
I don't need a break. This has all been a break.
You need a break from a break.
Need a vacation from your vacation.
Well, I'd like to wander down to see Dr. Morton too, because the sunlight's bothering me.
All right.
Oh, well,
We get it. You're a
Is he
vampire.
hiding? Is he escaping?
what I was planning on doing, if no one asked, was I'm going to grab my 1895 Winchester lever action rifle, and I'm heading up to the deck.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh.
crap. Everybody hot.
He actually can shoot a gun.
After several weeks ensconced in his cabin,
He needs to shoot his gun.
There's a
pale, hollow-eyed figure
horrible joke here.
of Dr. Morton emerges on deck, clutching a rifle.
Run!
Dr. Morton, are you all right? You don't look so good.
That's why I asked Nick. If I look at the porthole, do I see birds?
Yeah, there are birds.
All right.
Now and then. I mean, they're keeping their distance because
We've been shooting.
Sharon's been shooting at them for the last few weeks. But
Doing a damn good job at it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I've got mason jars. That's fine. They're far away. So I'm gonna take some mason jars and my rifle, and I'm gonna head up to the deck. And as I'm passing everyone, I shrug and I say, I'm gonna go shooting. I'm gonna go clay shooting without clays.
Have fun.
What exactly are you planning on doing? Throwing those things or what?
Yeah,
I think
I nodded at it.
I would think you would just line them on the rim of the ship.
No, you don't want to do that. You want to have a challenge. You want to have
actually, you could toss them in the water and just shoot them as they're floating away.
That's true. You could do that.
I don't think
But,
mason
if someone
jars
wants to-
float.
If you put a lid on them and it's gonna have air
Go over
inside.
there. Yeah. If someone wants to throw them, that'd be better.
I'll throw them for you.
All right. So I guess Pijo throws and I shoot him out of the air.
Well, we
Don't
gotta
get
name
shot,
them
Pijo.
first. We gotta name them first.
Why do we have to name the mason jars?
Why the hell not?
These people are all insane. I'm going to
All
go
right.
find some of the books in Dr. Morton's room, if he'll let
Yeah.
me.
I've been doing, like, this entire time I've been doing research and trying to, like, understand the culture and everything like that. So there's, like, stacks of research stuff. So don't touch any of those. Any book that's in the case.
After several
Gotcha.
weeks locked in your cabin, pouring through all the books that you brought with you. I mean, you've exhausted the available literature on the subject. You've got a relatively good understanding of the currently known situation
That's
in New
good.
Guinea. Less so on the Birdshead Peninsula because there's only been really
Right.
one expedition to it, and it's largely unexplored. But you know the region. You know, if someone were to say to you, "Oh, we're heading from Hollandia to Manawakwari," you know where it is. You roughly know where these settlements are around the coast. So you're familiar. You know the major locations like Humboldt Bay and places like that. You're familiar with.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I did so much research just because we need to assume what we're going into. Just through.
Good plan.
I mean, yeah, cultural osmosis. I mean, they may be isolated, but still, if there's any communication, some cultural osmosis may have happened between the tribes, which means that they'll, if there's a connecting thing, it can be like we can share that with them, and then it immediately creates a level playing field.
Well,
we
you're
establish.
expecting as well that there's a saturation effect, linguistic saturation effect as well. So one tribe is like one tribal group are likely to be able to know a limited amount of the language of the next tribal group for purposes of trade and communication. They won't necessarily be fluent, but you know that if you plan things well, you're likely to find people who will be able to communicate with the next tribe. Although you are prepared for the fact that sometimes that's going to mean that you may well be sort of 2 or 3 translators deep.
Yeah.
In trying to communicate to people.
Yeah. I also wanted to focus also on body language, because I know that a lot of body language, if they can't understand through language saturation, that doing the wrong thing, like putting my finger up, could get a shot.
Yeah, it could get us in big trouble.
Yeah,
So,
it's very, very important to avoid aggressive body language. That's something you have definitely done. And you're also, I mean, you've got to be particularly cautious, because one thing that most of the texts keep coming back to is the fact that for most of these tribal groups, in their culture, what they call their custom, in the pidgin English they use, for most of them, the only time that white-skinned human beings are mentioned in their culture is when they're ghosts.
Yeah.
Right.
So in dealing with people who've had no contact with Europeans, you are prepared for the fact that they will be very frightened, and it's a very difficult, tense situation.
Yeah. Put your head to the ground.
There are lots of accounts in the books of people who've messed it up very, very badly in first contact situations.
Yeah.
Now, Artie, I have thrown 3 of your mason jars, and you have just been standing there jibber-jabbing to yourself as if you were having a conversation with some invisible person. I've heard you mention all sorts of tribes of my God, you have had your head way too far in those books.
I would assume, as I'm kind of looking around as I've been kind of looking around in his room for something to read, maybe something on the cultures of Fiji, just because I'm interested, I would have probably read a few of his notes, just kind of by happenstance, and gotten a general gist as well, but not like as much as he would, obviously.
Yeah, there's a few sort of gazetteers of the region covering French Polynesia and Samoa, Tonga, Fiji, this kind of region. Sort of west of the Polynesian region.
Mm-hmm. So now, at this point in time, out of character, were there like records of the whole Fiji cannibal thing at all, or no? Because that's where my mind immediately went.
Well, now, I mean, out of game, there's a lot of debate about cannibalism and the evidence for cannibalism, and whether cannibalism occurred ritually with people who died naturally, whether it occurred in warfare, or whether in most cases, probably the majority of cases, it was just used as a slander against other cultural groups that people didn't like.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
If when you look into most of these accounts, you find that it's always those people over there in that valley over there. They're the ones that eat people, not us.
Okay.
We don't do it, but they do.
Interesting.
There are certainly cases. There's a variety of archaeological evidence from around the region showing that cannibalism was practiced by various cultures at certain points. But it's difficult to tell whether that was done in periods of privation or whether it was done ritually, because the arrival of
because of the obfuscation.
Yeah, sort of that process of colonialism essentially eradicated the cultural traditions. So that what we have surviving now in the modern era is just a recreation, a contemporary recreation of what people believe their original culture may well have been. In many cases, very accurately, but it's difficult to know for sure.
Gotcha.
But there is definitely, you would, in 1924, you would be aware of archaeological evidence suggesting that cannibalism took place in some form in Tonga, Samoa, and Fiji at various points. Or whether they were isolated incidents, or ritual, or widespread, or whatever, difficult to say.
Well,
all right.
Unless we were actually anthropologists who were objective, we would probably believe all the stories that we'd heard, though. About
yeah.
I mean, very probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's my concern. I'm like, oh,
The popular
well,
folklore of the region is that the islands were full of man-eating cannibals who would put missionaries in great big pots.
That's why we're teaching you how to shoot, darling.
mm-hmm. Understandable, and why I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely learning how to shoot. And hopefully the ship doesn't crash or something. Worst case scenario, knock on wood.
Currently, there's not very much for the ship to crash into. You're just in open ocean.
Yeah, well, the Titanic was an open ocean, too.
The occasional distant atoll.
Yeah. This ocean you can swim in because it's nice and warm.
Yep. It's nice and warm. It's full of nice, warm, friendly sharks.
No amount of saying I can swim in the ocean is going to get you to be able to see me in my bathing suit, Pijo. Just saying.
That's okay. You don't need a bathing suit. I mean,
you're just lucky I don't have my gun with me right now.
We're probably
Pijo, you're pushing it, okay?
We've probably spent more time together than most married couples at this point. And in tighter quarters.
Well, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder.
I thought that was absinthe.
It could be. I was too busy smooching my boyfriend to tell at the time.
Mm.
Can I leave it at that?
Artie, when we get to Darwin, we're getting laid, you and
I
you two have fun.
And I chink at the bullet, which I'm hoping kind of like hits fucking Pijo. Like it injects and it kind of hits him in the chest, and I'm like,
Make him roll luck.
Yeah. And I kind of smile, but I say I do apologize if I'm not so formal with everyone. You're from Texas, so you must understand that when you grow up in the middle of nowhere in the desert, there's not a whole lot of people to talk to other than the horse.
That's okay. We're just trying to be friendly.
Maybe people that crawled their way out of the desert and then died. But
I respect
I see your
you
point.
as a scientist, but you're a human being too. A human being needs a little comfort.
Jack and Damien, what are you doing while all this is taking place on deck?
Well, is this the day after our drink up?
Oh no, this is we've now moved on nearly 3 weeks.
So it's the day after the last night's drink up.
Yeah. You're running. I mean, you are probably running dangerously low on booze at this point.
Can we get an estimate?
Bear in mind that there are islands here that are Seventh-day Adventist islands, so they're dry islands in
wonderful.
The region which is considered.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have drank all the booze so fast.
Well, we could brew some beer in that amount of time. So
does anybody have biology to brew the beer?
Oh, it's yeast and sugar and fermentable.
We can make grog. We call it grog.
Do we have an estimate yet from any of the ship's crew how long we are going to be on the ship now still until we arrive at the next destination?
Oh, well, they think you're going to hit Fiji late tomorrow.
Oh, excellent.
All right, so we'll at least be able...
At the moment, the forecast for Darwin is August the 15th.
Oh.
So that's 15 days, really.
Well,
in fact,
that's only 2 weeks in a day. We'll be fine.
A day ahead of schedule.
Well, I'm definitely going to be checking my gear, preparing my gear, and if we go slow enough, do a little bit of fishing off the stern. As I did bring fishing gear.
Well, you catch anything, let us know. We can have a nice big fried fish dinner. Well, if the crew has oil. And I don't mean motor oil.
If Papa Yosemite's going to cook it for us.
Yosemite. I don't know.
I hates them fish.
He's been keeping quite quiet. You get the feeling that he probably doesn't like having strangers on the ship. And even though you've been on the ship for 3 weeks, you are still most definitely strangers to him.
Well, I
At least I-
suggest
I thought Pijo and him were fairly good buddies.
Well, I talk at him, but he's kind of gruff.
Well,
He
maybe
just
it's
sort of
because you keep
grumbles
talking
and
to the coffee pot and not him.
You're never gonna let that go, are you?
No, I'm never gonna let that go.
I have a question either to the group or to the GM. Are we all like on this expedition as individual? In other words, am I going for ornithology and someone's like, Pijo, he's gone for cartography. Like, do we have a mission that we're trying to accomplish, or we're just
yeah,
gonna hit the shore on the sand?
Pijo is there as a cartographer.
Right. Are we supposed to be helping him?
That was a condition of the visa requirement. The rest of you have just gone as an opportunity to do basically pure field work. However, it's very difficult to predict what you'll be doing because no one's ever been there before.
Right. We're explorers.
So yes,
Like
really,
whales.
you're exploring. You're going there in the hope that you're going to find something that's going to make a name
Just
for
like
you.
those,
But we're
just like
exploring
those dramatic
as individuals, not as-
stories and what is it, amazing stories or whatever. I love those.
I mean, you have high hopes that you will find things relevant to your disciplines, and certainly I think for those of you of sort of zoological and biological backgrounds, it's a given that you're going to get your name on something. This is one of the reasons why you jumped at the chance so readily, because everyone knows that it's a treasure trove of uncatalogued
There could be
new
a missing.
species.
There could be a missing link to the evolution of some species of bird or something in there, for all we know.
All manner of things. You could be going somewhere like that. You could be the next Darwin. You could have some massive breakthrough. At the very least, you're going to find. Well, indeed, yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Well, Jack, somebody like you're probably already imagining that you're going to put Audui on the end of at least 20 or 30 different species that you find.
Mhm.
And Damien's probably got, what's he, Donovanii would be on the end of everything.
or Saurus, one or the other.
Well, if you find a lizard.
Do we know how much time we will have on the island?
You will have a total of 8 weeks.
Wow.
Damn, 5 weeks to get there and 8 weeks to stay.
Yep, and then you've got to be off of the island by the end of those 8 weeks. I think you've actually got like a 9.5 week
Grace period.
absolute 9.5 week window, at which point you're into the rainy season and due out. But you are going to be there. You're going to be there in the southern summer, and it's going to be hot, but at least it's not going to be
The bugs, of course.
So it's physical reasons that we have to leave, not because the government says we can't be there any longer.
Well, you're also on a limited visa, but I mean, that's less important than the physical constraints. I mean, it's going to be very difficult to get on and off the island.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Ooh, so we're going someplace completely. It's going to be completely uncharted, and we're going to be completely off the grid.
Yeah, about the only other place we can get that nowadays is the Congo.
I know. Ooh, it's a little bit actually kind of scary to think about it that way, isn't it?
Just keep your eye out for the big
sure
bugs.
Scary.
I hate bugs.
I think if the bugs get too big, I should be able to shoot them. Right out of the sky.
It's around about 2:15 in the afternoon, and there's a very strange occurrence. From the bow of the ship, you suddenly hear this deep, curious noise, almost like a trumpet. And there's a general sort of murmuring amongst the crew, and you can just from various you just hear crew members moving quite noisily and loudly towards the front of the ship.
What the hell?
What the hell was that?
Probably a whale. Musical.
Everyone seems. Yeah, it's kind of a musical note. Yeah, it just sounds like a very badly played trumpet.
Or perhaps a French one.
Possibly, maybe a flugelhorn. About every couple of minutes you hear another blast. There are 3 blasts in all.
Is that another ship? My God, what's going on? Can we go to the?
I want to go
ship
see
too?
what's going on. What the hell?
We tend to go where the.
Highest.
All right. Well, what awaits you at the front of the ship is a particularly bizarre sight.
Okay.
You're unsure what exactly is going on, but the captain and the first officer appear to be sitting on tea chests, wearing what looks like pieces of green canvas draped around them like cloaks, and sort of crude cardboard hats that look very much like bishops' mitres.
Mm-hmm.
While the first mate, who is wearing what appears to be a false beard made of some sort of stuffing material, and clutching a mop, stands by the side of them at a position of attention, and almost the entire crew, those that aren't involved in the ship's still moving at about half speed, so obviously some of the crew are working, keeping the ship going, but the majority of the crew, a good 2/3 of the crew, are lining the decks on either side with their heads down, all of them holding mops.
What in the hell is going on?
What?
Did somebody die or something? I ask one of the crew members if they speak English, what is going on here?
The crew member says, shh, shh, points to the captain and the first officer.
Okay.
And you notice, as he does so, you notice the first officer isn't just wearing a cloak made of an old piece of canvas. He appears to be wearing a skirt as well. But the skirt seems to be made of canvas that's been slitted and shredded. Almost as though it's designed to look like a grass skirt of some sort.
Well, Sharon,
and there's a bit of a murmuring.
I think he's getting married.
And the hushed tone turns to a murmur, and there's a slight excitement here. And,
well, I suppose I just keep observing then.
Well, after a couple of minutes, everyone looking around, the captain seems to give a sign to the first mate. And the first mate lifts up his mop and bangs the end of his mop on the ground 3 times and shouts out, "Behold, the king has risen!" At which point, 4 of the crew walk off, open a door at one of the hatches, and from the hatch emerge 2 of the younger crewmen you saw earlier. Both of whom are naked from the waist up and smeared with what appears to be sump oil.
Some black stump oil? Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's just sort of brown, greasy sunfoil. It doesn't look like it's been smeared in any particular fashion. It's just been sort of like slopped over them.
Could we try to maybe roll anthropology here to figure out what the hell?
I think it's some sort of a Navy ritual.
Yeah, but a native ritual involving what?
Maybe we just crossed the equator or something.
Maybe. I suppose that's a... Well, that would make sense. All
While-
those
while
weird
you're
ship
wondering
traditions.
this, the captain shouts out, "Bring forth the griffins!"
Griffins.
And with two crewmen on either side, the younger crewmen are brought forward and plonked down in a kneeling position in front of the captain, as the first mate steps forward and says, "Behold, King Dagon and Queen Hydra."
What?
I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
And there's a banging of
What?
mops, banging of mops on the ground.
I'm on the deck. Do I hear any of this? Do I hear the shouting?
Yes, you can.
Well, I
hear
mean,
it's
we're
very
all
loud.
on the decks.
It's at this point that I
And the ship's running at half speed, so there's less sound from the engines as well at this point.
So it's at this point that I kind of crook my rifle, and I walk over, and I'm now standing with Pijo and Sharon, and this is the first time I'm seeing this, so I say out loud, "What the hell is happening?"
I think
About-
it's sort of a ritual when they pass the some sort of ocean thing. Probably they're gonna get tattooed or ears pierced or something like that.
I don't know. I have no idea.
They do things in the Navy.
How old are these naked ship hands?
Oh, they're about 19 or 20.
They're the new sailors.
I look at Pijo and I say, I don't think that this is part of the Navy. And I guess I just stand there and I just watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be something like that.
Yeah, so just watching, I guess. Trying
Well,
to
the
figure out what's going on.
I have I don't have my gun out, but I have I have my hand near my gun just in case something.
The captain stands and he says, "Davy Jones, read the order of the day." And the first mate, in his crude fake beard, he shouts something out. You can't quite hear it because the sea churns a bit at that point. But you hear something that sounds like the Imperial Order of the Golden Dragon. And then he says, "Let the ordeal of the Griffins begin." And all at once, every man on the deck drops his mop and from his back produces a sack that was seemingly tucked. They all had tucked into their belt at the back. And with as the mops clatter to the ground, they hold up these sacks, and there's a great big cheer, and they reach into the sacks and begin pelting the two men with what looks like mushy, rotten fruit.
Yeah, this has to be some sort of weird naval thing.
It's just like hazing in college.
Hazing. They must have just crossed the equator
Yeah, something
for
like
the first time.
Well, just sit back and we'll be glad they're not doing it to us.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
This goes on until they've run out of fruit. It's about like a good a minute and a half of pelting them with fruit. And you notice while they're doing this that the sailors are laughing while they're doing this.
Mhm.
You know, even the ones who are being pelted with fruit are laughing.
Okay,
the only
so
people
it's
who a straight face are the captain, the first officer, and the first mate.
mock. Okay, this is definitely hazing. Gotcha.
I scoff and I go back to my cabin and I mutter to myself, "This is the reason why I don't come out of my cabin."
No, I'm just extremely amused watching this. Like, oh, okay, I've caught on now.
Now you know what boys do when women aren't around.
As Dr. Morton turns around, can I look around? Is there any rotten fruit nearby me?
There's rotten fruit everywhere. It's
Oh,
all
no.
over the deck.
Don't fucking do it, Jeff.
Do it.
Fucking
Yeah.
Oh, what? No, that's not what I meant at all.
You hear another cry goes up from the first mate, who says, "The next ordeal. Let them kiss the royal baby's belly."
Oh no.
What?
And the two men are dragged across the deck to what looks like an old tin bath that was previously covered beneath a piece of tarp.
I'm sorry, a tin what?
A tin bath.
Bathtub?
Like a bathtub,
Yes.
Okay.
like a washing
Bath.
basin. Oh, this is awesome.
Wherein each of them is picked up by four men grasping all four of their limbs, for they only have four limbs, they are but men, and they're lofted into the air and dunked unceremoniously into a rather nasty looking tub of slightly greenish seawater.
Ooh.
And once both men have done this, the captain stands and he says, "I, King Dagon, ancient king of the sea, and my wife, Queen Hydra, do bestow upon thee the imperial order of the Golden Dragon. Thou hast crossed the international date line. Thou art a griffin no more. Arise, Golden Dragon."
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Interesting. Gotcha.
And a bottle of rum is thrust into each young man's hand. And in various dialects and languages, the crew chant equivalents of the phrase "chug, chug, chug."
Chug, 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 chug.
Yes,
chug,
I join in.
chug,
I join in.
chug.
And this goes on for a little while, and they pass the bottles around, and everyone has a nice drink. And the ceremony seems to end with all the sailors picking up their mops and throwing their mops at the two men and shouting the phrase, "Now clean the bloody deck up." And you know, slowly people sort of return to their stations. You know, one or two linger on, having a drink and a laugh. Some of the older
Well, that was
crewmen
extremely
taking their
amusing.
time.
Well, and you just realized that we went a whole day back in time just a moment ago.
What?
We crossed the international date line, my dear.
Oh,
Now we got to set this back to August 30th. I mean, to July 30th.
It's Wednesday the 30th now, again. You get the same day.
well, I suppose we've time traveled then, haven't we?
That means that I haven't gotten drunk yet. I think I'll get drunk.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
You're officially a day younger.
It's going to suck going back the other way.
That was bizarre but amusing.
I'm
No,
I'd advise going cautiously. The deck is very slippery at the moment.
yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
think
go-
I might. I should probably stick in my cabin until the deck is a little
Stinky
cleaner.
deck is cleaned up, yeah. So,
It's about 4:30 now. On the day before.
Dr. Damien, are you a chess man?
I have played many a game.
Then let's go play.
Sounds like a nice diversion. I'm out of rum.
And of course, I'll bet heavily on the game, and you're probably lying to me, and you'll kick my ass. As if money did us any good while we're on board this ship.
Yeah, that's right. Lots of
It was a bit of a jolt, by the way, a little while after the end of the ceremony. A bit of a jolt as the ship goes up to full speed again.
I thought as it hit the date line.
Yes, the date line is physical. It physically hit the date line.
Like hockey players that trip over the blue line.
Right.
There's a bit of a bump as you go over the
Yeah. The big red line. Yeah.
Which was painted there by Captain Cook in the late 18th century.
Indeed.
With nautical paint.
100% water salt-proof nautical paint. Non-toxic nautical paint.
And it goes like that as well. It doesn't go straight. The date line goes really weird.
And all those anchors to keep it in place.
Occasionally the fish nibble at it, but...
All right. That's enough Dateline jokes.
But NBC! Okay, I'll stop.
All right. What's next? You're still going to hit Fiji tomorrow.
Yeah, at this point in time, I think, whoever was going to go fishing, if we're going slow enough, I might do some fishing with them. But I think that character is playing chess right now, isn't he?
Yeah, with me.
All right, then I guess I'm going to go, I don't know, shoot some more birds.
Well, from Fiji, once you've left Fiji, you'll be heading up to San Cristobal. The nearest island actually to Fiji, between Fiji and Australia, would be Vanuatu, which would be fun because Vanuatu is very much like Papua, but San Cristobal has more facilities in terms of restocking. Vanuatu is very, very basic. And from there, you will, shortly after leaving San Cristobal, you will be able to see, about a day or two after that, you'll be able to see your first sight of New Guinea. But you'll be just going through the Torres Strait and round to Darwin rather than stopping there.
So we'll have Australia on one side and we'll have New Guinea on the other side. Huh?
Gotcha.
Anything special about Darwin? Seems like we're going rather far out of our way to get to Darwin just to come all the way back again.
Well, it's a strange choice,
Big
yes.
city.
I mean, it's got a large port.
Well, it's not. This ship is going to Darwin.
Right.
Yes.
It's not going to Papua New Guinea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
we're catching a ship in Darwin.
There's plenty of ports on like Port Douglas and.
Oh, I thought we were going to Darwin to stock, and then we were leaving there and going back.
Yes.
No, we're taking the Betty Jean.
You're going to Darwin to pick up another ship, the Betty Jean, which will then come back the same way through the Torres Strait.
Holland,
And, up the
This is
east
a really
coast
convoluted route.
Yeah, it is odd. I mean, you would. There are plenty of ports on the Queensland coast, but for some reason you're going up to the Northern Territory to Darwin.
Well, probably there's got cargo for Darwin.
Probably.
And
It's probably an established run.
Right.
Just.
And then they're just going to go back to where they came from and take more stuff back and forth. And we're just hitching along the most convenient way we can.
Drop us off right at New Guinea then.
Because they're not going to New Guinea.
We are. right?
But they're not.
Right, but their ship isn't. Their ship is taking cargo to Darwin.
I know, but we're going right past New Guinea, just to the north of us. Like, I'm confused why they don't just drop us off.
It's not their job. Not my job, mate.
Okay.
We're going to Darwin. Says a random sailor.
Yep.
You've questioned about the issue.
Overhears your conversation.
Alright.
By the way,
This bird guy thinks he knows everything about sailing the ocean.
what kind of bird's that? He asks.
The pigeon.
Damn.
Looks just like a seagull, but you can probably tell it has a different accent.
It's a sea pigeon.
Sea pigeon.
Gotta watch out for them sea falcons too. I hear they eat sea pigeons.
One last question about that. Is this so this is kind of the established route? In other words, the captain didn't come up with this route, or what was his name? George Jeffries. He didn't come up with this route. This is like an established thing, and we're just hitching a ride, basically.
Right.
Yeah. This is this ship rather makes regular trips between New York and Australia. This is its run. It stops off at these places.
Okay. I'm gonna sit on the side of the.
They're not willing to deviate from their established course. They have certain pickups and certain deliveries that they do. People rely on them to be there on those dates.
It's like taking a bus from Los Angeles to Chicago, but you're heading towards New York. Then you got to get another bus from Chicago to New York. So,
Well, true.
there wasn't anything going from New York to Papua New Guinea. So we got.
Well, yeah, I mean, the easiest comparison would be the time that I had to buy a budget ticket to get to a convention in Fort Lauderdale, and the cheapest ticket that I could find that was cheaper than a direct flight from London to Fort Lauderdale was to go from London to San Francisco, stop over for 7 hours, and then fly from San Francisco to Fort Lauderdale. Which was, for some reason, the cheapest standby flight available.
You end up flying past it and then going back to it.
Yep. So that's basically what you're doing here. I mean, there are ships that leave from Darwin that go up. You know, and bear in mind you're also going to Dutch territory as well, which complicates the issue.
True.
Darwin's a fairly large town at this point, isn't it? Shipping town.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's the main city of the Northern Territory.
All right. So we're in Fiji tomorrow.
Yes, indeed, you are.
I know what I'm doing. And I know who I'm going to probably drag along with me.
I'm probably going to go
If we get it.
stretch my legs,
we
at
can get
least
him
get
out
off
of
this
the
ship for a little while.
About 6 o'clock.
She's nice.
The bell rings. Dinner. Come and get it. You're well used to the fact now that you go and eat when the bell rings. You don't waste a moment, or there won't be much to eat.
Right.
Bit of a free for all.
To dinner.
All right. Well, we eat dinner. Delicious cookie.
Yeah, it's food of some kind. Might be meatloaf, might be sausages, could be lasagna. Difficult
It's
to tell.
food loaf.
Doesn't taste too bad.
Might be cake.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't
Meat
taste
cake.
too bad, but you can't help but wonder whether possibly some of the seabirds that Sharon shot may have been utilized.
Well, why not? Where's the cat?
Does it taste like chicken?
Oh, I don't know
It's
where
got
the cat
a
is.
sort of
I don't know,
fishy-
maybe
it's got a
they,
sort of-
maybe we
sort
put
of
it in
fishy
there.
taste to it. But at the same time, there's the odd crunchy bit that could just be well done. Might be a beak. Difficult to tell.
A whole beak. Okay, sure.
Well, you know, a bit of beak. A fragment of beak.
Well, you know, just don't swallow it. You'll be fine.
It's cartilage.
So is everybody joining us for dinner?
Well, there are 2 shifts, so everyone who's not on shift.
Well, I mean everybody in our group. Are they all joining?
Oh yes, yeah, and about half
I
the crew.
mean, it's food.
Well, we can discuss philosophical and scientific differences because we don't have anything else to do.
Well, my
Well, you know,
concern
we
is
are
that
going-
Everyone started packing their materials and getting ready to get off the ship.
Well, you know, we are close to Fiji. Maybe they caught some stowaway down in the back, if that's what this is.
Just keep eating.
That's just not even remotely funny. You think we're eating people with beaks?
I don't know. Maybe there are people with beaks that live in Papua New Guinea, in the areas we haven't explored.
Let's hope we don't find any finger bones or fingernails in this food.
Oh goodness, yes.
I mean,
People
You
don't
don't like
taste like that. Oh, they're way too salty. I'd add paprika if it were people.
who the hell was that? Cookie
Was that
too.
Yosemite Cook?
Sucking, fussing, ruzzing, pigeon.
It was Yosemite Cook.
It's a
Well,
very strong smell
hey.
of rum coming from behind the counter.
If it was pigeon, that the Frenchies call that squab. All right, folks. So we're going to be in Fiji tomorrow. We're going to have some fun because we need
we
it.
will.
I hope so. I need some. I at least need to get off the ship and stretch my legs.
You know, you're I think you get into Fiji at about 10 a.m. and you've got a good sort of 6 or 7 hours in Fiji.
Ooh.
So it's time to just, really, you've got enough time to get off the boat for a few hours and just get the feel of solid ground beneath your feet.
Which I readily do.
Load up
Yes,
on liquor.
which you are certainly craving the feel of standing on terra firma. That's a very real sensation that you're experiencing.
Nick, I have a question, I guess, out of game. What is the current state of buying weapons out of the States?
Well, you can probably get a hold of a limited range of ammunition. But bear in mind, for most of the islands, most of the smaller islands, the problem is that the people who live there would probably order firearms,
Right.
and the firearms would arrive on a ship like the Marquesita, which would bring them to the local store, and they would pick them up from the local store. So you're not going to be on any of the small islands long enough to actually order anything.
Yeah.
However, I mean, if you wanted to buy like a rifle or a shotgun, you could probably find a gun shop in Darwin.
That's perfect. So I'll stay on the ship.
Things like handguns, a bit more difficult. Although in the 1920s in Australia, I don't think there's any major restrictions on owning handguns.
Well, then I will wait until Darwin to pick up a shotgun, a pump action. So I'll stay on the ship.
Bear in mind, you're going to have to, anything you take in with you is going to have to be declared when you get to Dutch East Indies.
Yeah.
Because they want to know what's there. They're very keen that, as has been explained to you already, if you were to open fire on any of the native population, there could be long-lasting consequences that the Dutch could be dealing with for years to come. So any firearms you're taking in there, it's only on the understanding that you're taking them in for your own personal protection, and largely because you're heading into an area with entirely unknown fauna.
Yeah. Well, I'm also.
You know,
I
and
mean,
you already know there are crocodiles.
Yeah. I'm also not 100% familiar with. Oh my god, I can't remember what they're called. Essentially, colonization bandits who show up and try and exploit areas within, uncharted areas, stuff like that.
Carpetbaggers.
Yep. Yeah. They're there. I'm gonna assume.
Oh, it's the whole region is there's a lot of people who go in with the aim of stripping natural resources, stealing art treasures.
Yeah. So I'm not so much worried about the indigenous people. I'm worried about a bunch of I guess they're not boars.
Well,
Dutch people.
there's prospectors and people looking for gold and other precious stones and things who flood into these regions. So there's very, very much there are people like that known to be operating in the region, because this place has only really been open to Westerners for about 4 years. So it's, there are rumors of gold deposits. As far as no one's found anything, but that it doesn't have to be anything. If there's a rumor, that's enough to cause a significant influx of people.
Yeah. So just arming myself to be prepared for other people rather than indigenous people. And I guess I bring that up to the group, is that I am armed to the teeth in case of carpetbaggers, raiders.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's something I never actually even considered, but I'm armed just in case, whatever.
Well,
I know. I have my gun, which is my protection, and I have a few other weapons just in case.
But there's one thing I learned in New Mexico, is that a gun can pretty much solve any issue.
Or a woman.
Well, or that. And I actually smile at Pijo's joke.
Are you coming, Doc? Are you gonna come out? Are you gonna just hang out here in your room?
I was planning on hanging out in my room when we hit Fiji.
Why don't you just come out and have a good time with us? We're gonna be together for a long time. You might as well be friendly. Ain't gonna hurt you.
And I grumble at that, and I nod, I suppose.
All right.
At least come spend some time on the beach with us.
The beach.
Ooh, the beach. That would be fun.
I so want to get out of the sun and the heat.
Yeah. I mean, maybe going into the port city will be nice, just to, talk to other people. And I look around the table, because you're kind of all the people who have talked to me, and you've pestered me quite a bit in 3 weeks.
All
I've
right.
been trying not to pester you, geez. So where are we going?
At the moment, you are bound for Fiji, where you will arrive tomorrow morning.
I mean, where are we all going once we get to Fiji?
We have no idea. We've never been to Fiji.
We can't go very far because we've only got a few hours there, but I'm sure there's some places there, some bars and some places we can relax and get some tropical drinks and
At least stop for some lunch. Anything to get off the ship and, Cookie is nice and all, but I'm getting a little sick of his food, if you know what I mean.
well, we don't have it too much longer.
I suppose that's true.
All right. So this is dinner time. I'm done.
Yep. I'm done as well. I probably scarfed that
Yeah,
thing down and went down to my room to avoid everybody.
I finish and head downstairs. I'm a little tired.
I'm going to take
Yep.
this bottle of rum with me.
Of course you do.
And just relax and drink some rum and fall asleep.
Okay.
I will join you in that rum there, Pijo.
This is my rum. You get your own rum.
What, you're not going to share?
We all bought our own.
There's plenty of rum in the South Seas.
Fine, whatever, Pijo.
You get on with what you're doing, reading, drinking, whatever, and eventually nature takes its course and you fall off to sleep. In the morning, the first bell is sounded at 8 o'clock, and there's the usual clamoring to get to breakfast, which consists of porridge, as supplies are running quite low. That's why you're restocking. And about a little earlier than expected, about 9:15, you see the first double-hulled canoes
Ooh.
of fishermen off the coast of Fiji. And they don't, one or two of them wave to the ship, others just ignore it and carry on fishing. And as you get nearer to the islands, a few more boats here and there. Some of them traditional double-hulled canoes like that, others more modern boats, fishing boats, a couple of larger boats. One of them looks like another cargo boat just off in the distance, just heading off to the east, where you've just come. And about 20 minutes after you saw the first boat, you find yourself pulling into a very rudimentary dock.
Ooh.
Very basic. There's no crane for unloading. There are people going up. There are 2 gangplanks on the boat. People are going up the back gangplank, and then carrying things down by hand. So there's quite a crowd of people waiting there to carry stuff off.
Well, this is the part I hate the most. We get down and have off the plank and onto the beach, and it feels like the whole island is doing this.
True. I carefully, hopefully not having to fight my way past too many people, make my way onto the deck and look around, take in the sights, and get ready to kind of steady myself.
It's very beautiful. I mean, it has the look of a standard colonial architecture, but there's also a lot of the indigenous culture that you can see. You can see a lot of carvings and things, and the people are quite a strange blend of traditional grass skirts and bark cloth and contemporary Western dress, khaki shirts and printed skirts, and sometimes a mixture of. Some people are wearing a mixture of the two. There are children. Some of the children are wearing traditional clothes. Some of the children are just wearing like Western shorts or their dresses. Most of the kids seem to be barefoot. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. The beaches are white sand. The sky and the sea are both the same deep shade of blue. There are palm trees bowing over the beaches, and some coconuts everywhere, and fruit growing on by the side of the road, and a fresh breeze coming in off the sea. It really is paradise. It's a beautiful, beautiful.
But it's paradise.
It's hot, but it's.
At least you have a cross breeze, though.
Yeah, that breeze the sea breeze is really taking the edge off it quite a lot. There's a few what look like storage sheds and an office. Looks like the harbour master's office. And then across the road from that, there's sort of a square, well, 3 sides of a quadrangle, with a variety of little shops, and one looks like it's a sort of bar, hotel, restaurant. Pretty basic, but looks fairly welcoming. And then on the other 4th side of the square, there's what looks like the foundations of the building and some bricks. No one appears to be working there. It's probably too hot. Given up. And it seems like it's busy in its own way. It's not it's not bustling, but people are going about doing their business. But it's the sort of heat where you can get things done, but everything's proceeding at island pace.
Mm-hmm.
It seems really quite idyllic. The people are all smiling.
I like it here already.
Yeah, if you chat to any of the people, they'll all explain to you that Fiji is the happiest place in the world.
Looks it.
One of these days, this will turn into a big tourist trap. I mean, why not? Look at it. It's paradise.
Well, I'm definitely going to disembark and wander and look for markets.
I'm going to do something similar. I think maybe find at least something to be like a souvenir of my trip here.
Well, there's plenty of little stalls dotted around on the inside of the quad, sort of facing. There's a walkway, and on one side of the walkway you've got the built buildings, and on the other side you've got little stalls and things. And, the crew are milling around there. They're quite used to people coming off the ships and buying little knickknacks and things.
So here you go, Doc. We can walk around and study the indigenous peoples, as you so often say.
And I smile and nod, and then I kind of mutter to myself, I just wanted supplies, but I guess I'm stuck with you. And then I smile.
And I'm like overly friendly, Got my arm around you. Come on, let's have some fun. Let's get something to drink.
All right. I go with P-Joe to get something to drink.
I'm gonna shop around, maybe find like one of those cute little like carved. What are they like? They're like carved wooden necklaces or something like that, as a souvenir, and then I'm gonna join them.
Well, one of their main things seems to be carved whale teeth. Notice some of them are quite expensive. You see them hanging up everywhere. Which the locals call tabua. There's all sorts of necklaces and bark cloth, and some of it's been printed and mounted on bits of card.
Bright colors, yeah. Everybody likes bright colors here.
Oh yeah. I mean, they seem to like quite brightly coloured floral prints. Seem to be in vogue. As and as I say, that some people are wearing like traditional clothing as well as Western clothing. One or two people, older people, just wearing traditional clothing, but most people are wearing sort of blend.
Cool. Well, we drink and we'll relax, and I try to talk about anthropology, but I don't know anything about anthropology.
You can talk about Texas. New Mexico and Texas are right by each other, and it's the death of the West. So it's the death of the Old West.
Yeah, there's a little bit more where I'm from than there is where you're from, though. You're out there in the desert.
What?
I got Houston right across the way there.
Yeah, there's more in Texas than there is in New Mexico. But you make do, especially in a small town like Colombia, right by the border.
But you got those gorgeous, I don't know what you call them, those red mountains that stand straight up.
Plateau, yeah, the plateaus they're further north. Like I said, I'm from Colombia, so I was from Colombia, and then World War One happened, and the Mexican Revolution. I went back down there to kind of take on Villa and everything like that.
How the hell old are you?
I guess I take a drink and I say I'm about 35. I'm about to turn 36.
You don't look it. You look younger than that.
I take another drink and I smile and I say, well, I guess I'll take that as a compliment. People have told me that I looked 29, but no, I was in my late 20s when General Villa attempted to take Colombia. So luckily, my dad was a sheriff. Like I said,
You're talking about Pancho Villa?
Yep. Villa.
Yeah. I know a really funny joke about Pancho Villa, but I ain't gonna tell it.
Tell me. Tell it.
No.
Yeah, come on.
I'll tell it to you later.
Oh, come on. We're gonna cut it. We can cut it out.
It's a long joke. It's one of those story jokes. It takes a while to tell.
And it's a joke where the payoff is like nothing.
No, it's awesome.
It's an awesome payoff. Okay, well, then I look forward to hearing it. But yeah, no. Killed about 90 revolutionaries, as they call themselves. Scoff.
Well, I remember the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo? That was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't remember the Alamo. It's just something everybody says.
Oh, I forgot you're from Texas, and the Alamo is apparently a national or a state holiday down there.
It was a big deal. They lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They invented the Bowie knife. Got its start there, though.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Thanks, David. Yeah. Thanks, David Bowie. And then I'm like, wait a minute, that's not who I'm thinking of. Who's David Bowie?
Yeah, thinking of crap. See, I don't know my history that well. I know Daniel Boone was there, wasn't he?
Yeah. Davy Crockett was there. I'm
Davy Crockett, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Crockett was there. He died.
They all died.
Bowie was, if I remember correctly, Bowie was in a bed when the battle was happening, and 8 Mexicans broke in and with the knife took them all down. But he was so sick that he died.
Was it John Bowie? I can't remember what his first name was.
Pretty sure it was David Bowie. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but he had in the 1880s, he had a pretty effeminate phase. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, very little happens on Fiji. You know, if you engage any of the locals in conversation, they'll tell you about the past of the island. They'll give you a rundown. They'll pull up a stool and they'll tell you their gods and myths and stories about cannibals. And if you're very lucky, they might offer you some carver. That's carver with a K, not carver with a C, not the Spanish champagne analog. It's made from the local roots.
Well, I would assume while I'm, kind of shopping and look at this necklace, true necklace, after I find my necklace, it's just like a shell necklace with some hemp or something, and I ask about some of these legends and listen.
They tell you about the great serpents, and there's a lot of stories about big fish, big fish eating people, big fish disgorging valuable trinkets, people drinking too much kava and seeing big fish.
You know, the big fish story is true the whole world round.
They're very much a fishing culture. There's lots of stories about fish. They'll talk to you of great heroes and wars, and if you spend enough time in the Pacific, you'll start realizing that a lot of the islands have very similar stories, just with different names and different heroes, and they'll tell you stories of heroes who swam to the moon in order to bring a lost love back from the dead, and there's a lot of stories that they'll tell you, and they'll drink more kava, and they'll point out what a nice color things are, and they'll start laughing at chairs.
I'll start laughing at chairs.
Yeah, as will
They'll
you.
start talking to coffee pots.
Drinking colour, you'll start saying, "Oh, that wall's a nice colour, isn't it?" That's,
Kind of sounded like a fish.
Oh, your face is a bit soft.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, best not overdo the carver.
So, how many days until we get to 15? You said till we get to Darwin.
Yeah.
Darwin,
which is the main city of the Northern Territory, named after the famous scientist Ken Darwin. Oh no, Charles Darwin. Sorry. Too much carver. Sorry.
Yeah, you're not going to make a monkey out of me.
I mean, as I say, it's nice, and they've got some interesting stories, but nothing much happens there.
Okay.
Well, you know, it was cool to learn a little bit about their cultural history.
It was nice to get off the boat.
Place, and that's very much part of its charm.
It's beautiful here, and you know, I almost wish I could stay here for a little longer, but we only have so much time.
All right. Well, it's almost time for us to get back on that boat.
Yeah, you know, I head back to the boat and meet with the guys, and I'm like, "Oh, did I show you this beautiful necklace that I bought?" And I just start talking about the beautiful necklace and all the different stories I heard. And
immediately to cabin.
Kind of looks like a fish.
Doctor,
Yeah, it does.
Seashells. It's not fish.
Well, to me, it looks like a fish.
Cowrie shells, huh?
Cowrie shells.
Well, I got what I was looking for.
I'm sure you did. So, you know, I just kind of shake my head, and I also head to my cabin.
All right.
Well, the ship gets underway. Everyone's back aboard. There's some kids running up the dock, waving as the ship leaves.
Target practice, Sharon.
I can throw some cigarettes
Whoa.
just to hand out.
Off it chugs. They've no idea what the cigarettes are. They're innocent little children.
Oh my God! You've destroyed their whole culture.
They're not.
You left. You're supposed to take only pictures and leave only footprints.
They're not corrupted little monsters from Hell's Kitchen. They're innocent Melanesian children.
And now they smoke.
No, they just look at them and just go, "I don't know what that is."
Toss them in the ocean.
You can't eat these.
And they go off and play with the hoops or something.
They go, "Oh, candy," and they just take a big old bite out of it.
Worst candy ever.
Terrible. Tosses it in the ocean.
And then Philip Morris fixes the whole flavor thing.
You know, they put mint flavor in the tobacco.
Do you know how well, oddly enough,
flavor.
Do you know how tobacco was actually discovered?
No, I don't. Enlighten me.
Well, in China, they used to just it used to grow wild in China, and they had like big sort of like paddy fields full of paddy tobacco fields. And one day, one of these tobacco fields caught on fire, and this small group of Chinese men were standing next to the field when it caught on fire, and they said, "Well, that smells nice, doesn't it?" And they went down the shop and bought a packet of Winston's. and that's how smoking was invented. It's absolutely true fact.
100% true facts that actually happened.
And as true as I'm sitting on this horse.
Yeah.
You're
an anthropologist.
I doubt seriously that they were Winstons.
No.
They were probably Lucky Strikes.
They were Lucky Strikes. Yeah.
That's the one flaw in your story, Doctor.
They were Lucky Strikes.
My mother used to.
Cigarette.
My mother used to smoke Lucky
Are you
Strikes.
sure you really got your doctorate? I mean, your stories have huge holes in them. You know.
Yeah, well, I wish I hadn't actually. Now that I've discovered that you can just buy one on the internet and base an entire television career on it, it would have been a bit.
Just sell diet pills. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's a doctor.
Right.
Doctor of what? Doesn't matter. Buy my diet pills.
Here's some spirulina.
All right, are we heading towards Darwin?
You are heading towards Darwin. There's a brief stop off at San Cristobal. You're not there very long. It's just refueling the boat. But if you like, as I'd like, we could just skip ahead a bit.
All right.
I think let's just skip ahead a bit, to be honest.
I mean, your journey, you get a nice glimpse of the coast of New Guinea. As you go past, you can almost make out Port Moresby. As you go through the Torres Strait, past Thursday Island, into the Arafura Sea, and eventually coming into Darwin in the hot, steamy Northern Territory, and with a chug, the boat arrives in Darwin. Somalia.
Darwin's a much bigger place, huh?
Yeah.
It's definitely more Western.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's there's industry there, and
it's time to buy me a shotgun.
Darwin.
Yeah, I should probably buy my own shotgun, or at least my own gun of some sort.
Just be careful. From what I understand, this entire country is populated by criminals.
That is right.
Pretty sure there's no more criminals here than there are in Chicago.
Well, I think this was once a penal colony. It was all criminals.
Well, it's not like that now. I mean, it's there are trams.
I'm sure the majority of Darwinians are perfectly nice people.
Trams and electric lights, and gramophones.
Would you say that they're an evolved species in Darwin?
The Darwinians.
Hey, Joe, I am going to slap you.
You keep saying that, but you keep not doing it.
Can I actually haul off and slap him now?
You could try, but I'm going to try to dodge it.
I'm fine.
If that's what the players want, then that's what the players can do. You
roll
to hit.
For that?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
and P. Joe can make a dex roll to avoid your slap.
I got a 15.
I rolled 91 on that. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
So you swung and missed me.
You were very lucky. You just about managed to stop your swinging time to stop yourself from slapping your own face. You just kind of go, wait!
Like, whoa!
You almost do a pirouette and fall over.
Darwin, what have you been
yeah,
drinking?
next time I won't miss.
All
You
right,
can hear
so-
from somewhere on the dock. You can hear someone go, "Look at those bloody idiots over there! What the bloody hell are they doing?"
What
That's
the
a
hell?
really, out of character, that's a really good Australian accent.
What the hell language are they speaking?
They're speaking English. That's their accent.
I couldn't understand a damn word he said.
I think the proper term for them is Kiwis.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that New Zealand?
Yeah, I think that
You know, what it sounded like he said to me was rang, 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 rang. If that's English.
I'm pretty sure I detected the subtle tone of him calling us idiots.
Oh, is that what he said? Okay.
There's on the dock. There's a young man, about 16 years old, wearing a sort of dark blue uniform and a little pillbox hat. Is standing anxiously at the foot of the gangway, clutching a piece of paper and sort of glancing around.
I bet you he's here for us.
That must be who we're looking for, I guess. You know, get our stuff, disembark.
Yeah, I think so.
He doesn't look like his name is Wepu.
Oh
don't
no,
know.
you're picking up. Wepu is the guy you're meeting in the Dutch East Indies.
Well, it's still what I said. He doesn't look like Wepu.
Nope,
Probably
certainly
his
doesn't.
name probably isn't Wepu.
Well, let's find out. Maybe he's going to take us to the other boat. The Betty Jean.
Smart one, aren't you?
He carries on looking around. I mean,
I would probably call out. I don't like to say it, but I'd probably just be like, "Oh, over here, boy." Sounds awful when I say it, but back then that's
He
probably
sort
what I
of cautiously walks over and just says, "G'day, are you from the American university, the Myskotonic University?"
Miskatonic, that would be us, yes.
That's us, yes.
Yeah, I've got a note here for you. There's you've got a parcel over at the telegraph office. There's a parcel waiting for you.
Oh, really?
Sharon,
Yes.
what the hell's a parcel?
He has a package for us waiting at the telegraph
A
station.
package for us. Why didn't you say package?
Because they don't say that here.
So I
They
told
say
you it's
parcel.
not English. It's not English.
I approach the small boy, or the 16-year-old. He's not small, and I say, "And where can we pick up this package?"
Well, the telegraph office.
And does he point me in the right direction?
I can give you the direction. He said, "Yeah, now be careful when you go over there. You'll see there's they're building the cottage that's going to be the new telegraph office, but they've only just started that. So what you want is there's a shed. It looks like a shed, but it's actually the telegraph office for the moment. You'll see all the wires going in it."
And I
All right.
I nod and I begin walking, but I turn to the group and I say, "I think he said shed. I don't know."
Well, he said there was a bunch of winos going into it. I don't know why
Well,
they
as
have winos.
he walked off,
How
he
is
said,
it so
"Yeah, up there,
difficult
up there,
for you to
that way,
understand
that
this?
way. Go on,
We
up that
apologize
way.
to all Australian viewers.
You know, I turn to him and I say,
I really am
very
truly sorry. I mean, I'm not an expert in dialects. I'm basing this off of like about 8 minutes of a Norman Gunston interview, and five or six episodes of Neighbours.
And some others do happen.
Dash of Home
Well,
and Away. and a bloke I once met in Melbourne who I think was a clinical depressive, and I
No,
do really apologise to the people of Australia. Good on you, cobbers, and on with the game. So yeah, he just sort of waves you on and goes, "Go on, up there, yes, up that way."
You know, I say thank you,
Oh, yeah.
and I assume he said something about telegraph office, and he had said something about, I think, shed. So I'm going to try to head towards that because, I mean,
There's plenty of
apparently
people around. I mean, it's difficult to get that lost because there's lots of people milling around. It's quite a big place.
We'll find it. Okay. Oh no, I got the wrong accent.
There's Dick Van Dyke has just joined your team from somewhere, offering to clean some chimneys for someone. You know, there are people milling around. There's, you know, as I say, there's trams, and you know, it's quite, you know, it looks like it's quite a booming place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things being built.
So I would assume we would try to get a tram to the telegraph office, if not walk there. Depends how far it is.
It's probably on the docks, isn't it?
Well, he said it's, you know, he said it's just over there. I mean, he just pointed you sort of like over the road. You can kind of. I mean, if you want to make an idea roll.
Sure. Which I make.
Well, it occurs to you that all you really need to do is go roughly in the direction that he pointed you, and just follow the telegraph wires, and they'll inevitably lead you to the telegraph office.
Okay, yeah. I start off that way. Unless everybody else wants to continue mishearing what everybody in Darwin is saying.
We'll follow you. Go right ahead. We got to move all of our stuff to the other ship.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to go pick up the stuff from the telegraph office while they move stuff to the ship, I guess.
Okay.
I'll follow you, I guess.
It takes you about no more than about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Find the telegraph office. There's a sign. It's just a bit of board with it's written on it in paint and an arrow. It says temporary telegraph office. And you point down. They're building this nice little brick cottage.
All right.
Well,
So
By the side of that, there's an old shed, and in the shed there's a sort of middle-aged man with a moustache sitting there smoking a cigarette.
hello.
G'day.
Yes, good day. We're from Miskatonic University. We were told there was a package waiting for us here.
A what?
A parcel?
Oh, parcel. Right. Oh, right. Yeah. Hang on a minute. What'd you say it was?
Miskatonic University.
The American thing. Yeah. Hang on.
Yeah,
hang on.
we're from.
And he goes out the back and comes back a moment later with a brown paper package.
You mean a parcel?
And parcel.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Can you just put your scrawl on there for us?
Sure, I write. I sign for it. I figure same thing as in America. You have to sign for packages.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, right. There you go. Right. Have fun.
All right, thank you.
Ta-ra.
What did he just say?
I don't know why.
Not so easy, huh?
All right, so I take the package and leave. I'm like, I wasn't expecting any packages at all.
Well, maybe something from the Miskatonic is sent. Oh, what is it? How big is it?
Yeah, how big is this package?
It's not a big package. It's like a big envelope, but it's kind of quite thick.
Hmm. All right, so I open it up and I see what it is.
Well, it's mainly 6 visas.
Oh, okay.
For your stay. It's a list of the supplies that you're collecting.
All right. Okay, so it's like a manifest.
It gives you details of which offices the supplies have to be picked up from. There's 2 separate offices that the the supplies have to be collected from. One is seems to be just expedition supplies, and the other is perishables, which comes from the some customs office or something. So
Gotcha.
customs holding warehouse. And there is tucked in with it. There's a note that says that should you want to get in contact with him, there's a gentleman at the university in Darwin, Professor Brian Lara, Lahrer, who is an ethnologist who has apparently spent quite a lot of time in the Dutch East Indies, although he's not been to the Birdshead Peninsula. But he has got in touch with the anthropology department at Miskatonic on a couple of occasions over the last few weeks to offer to just orient you if you need any orientation.
Well, that's a great idea. I should probably take this to the others, obviously. So
Okay.
I'm hoping they would have found the ship by now, or they're going to need this.
We've probably talked to the dockmaster to see where we're looking for the Betty Jean.
But
It's a
the
typical departure.
Betty
You get-
Jean, it's I think it's down the end there on dock number 3, mate.
Dock number 3.
Dock number 3. That's down there, and go left at the end.
Finally, somebody who speaks complete English. Thank you.
That's right. Off you go, mate. Really, really sorry.
I didn't get that last
I'm a
part.
big Bob Down fan. I've got nothing against the Australian peoples.
And
I'm just really bad at accents. Mind you, it's a good job he didn't go to New Zealand, because my New Zealand accent is very nearly a diplomatic incident. So, bosh and chops. But,
Alrighty, well,
only couple, mate. Okay.
no,
All right, so we are heading towards the Betty Jean, but we see Sharon and John. The boat's down this way.
oh,
You can see
You know,
as
I'd
she
head towards
approaches you that Sharon is holding a large envelope.
What did we get? What did they send us?
mostly visas, a manifest, and there's a Dr. Laurer who is at the university in Darwin. He might be able to help us in terms of our orientation. He spent some time in Papua New Guinea.
Oh. How long are we going to be here?
How long are we going to be here?
You're here for 2 days.
Oh.
All right.
Today is August 15th, and the Betty Jean, according to the manifest that you've now got, the Betty Jean is due to depart on August 17th.
All right. All right.
17th depart. Darwin. All right. Well,
And sorry, I should have mentioned as well, the captain of the Betty Jean, according to the manifest, is Captain Keith Moss.
Gotcha.
all right. Well, can we get some people to help us move all of our stuff over to the other ship?
Well,
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
something.
It's all taken care of. The crew have already been paid to.
Mhm.
Yes, it's part of your passage that they will take your equipment across to. I mean, they're a cargo ship. They're used to carting stuff about,
All right. I've got.
Do
I've
we
got
need to
kind
pick
of a-
up a question about the manifest? Do we need to pick up the perishables and the equipment supplies and everything? Do we have to pick those up, or is the crew
by-
going to do that?
From what you can ascertain by reading the information you've been provided, you just have to go and sign for it,
Oh, okay, okay.
and basically just have it delivered to the ship and check that it's all there, and the stevedores will deliver it to
All
the
right.
ship for you.
There are certain pieces of my equipment that are very delicate, so I'm taking them with me, and transferring them myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Surveying equipment. If it gets jammed up,
Well, I think things like that will assume you specifically labeled
Right.
for that purpose, so you know where they are, and you recognise your own cases.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I bet they're going to have a great time hauling all those books out of Dr. Morton's room and into the next ship.
I mean,
Well,
you've roughly got about 30% of the expedition supplies with you that you brought with you on the Marquesita, and the rest of it, especially the tropical equipment, is just going to be is going to be there waiting for you.
So I'm going to
Alrighty.
assume we need to find ourselves a place to stay here in Darwin.
We can't stay on the other ship.
yeah, that would be my question.
You can stay on the ship if you want to. I mean, your cabins are booked. You are the only passengers on the Betty Jean. The Betty Jean is pretty much going up there specifically for the expedition.
Well, all right. I was kind of hoping to sleep.
I mean, they've got other things to do. They're basically going to take you up there. They're going to drop you off,
Right.
and you are going to arrange a date. Which one? Now, if you wanted to come back before that date, you would have to go up to the whichever port you end up in, and radio to various other ports and relay a radio message back to Darwin to get the ship sent out. So the ship would take.
Well, they probably wouldn't just send the ship right away. They'd have to wait until they had a reason. Go all the way to Manokwari.
True.
It's about 5 days.
Yeah.
5-day trip from Darwin to going all the way around the coast.
Oof.
And
So
New Guinea is a big.
I was going to say it's a big island, huh? All right.
Even
All
at
right,
full
so I think-
speed in quite a nippy little ship like that, it's going to take 5 or 6 days.
I guess we'll stay on the ship.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Right.
It's better. It's a bit better appointed than the Marquesita.
Hmm.
You know, it's clear that they're not adverse to taking the odd paying customer. There's unlike the Marquesita, there's a lounge area for passengers. It's by no means is it a passenger ship, but
it's nice.
more of a
Right.
private charter ship.
I see.
You know, it's got a lounge. It's
Well, after 5 weeks, it's about time.
yeah, it's got a. I mean, there's a separate
what
dining
matters.
area for you. You're not dining with the crew as you were on the Marquesita. The cabins are a little bit better, a little bit bigger, a little bit cleaner, a little bit more storage space. All the cabins have got portholes, which is a joy for some of you who were stuck in what were basically cupboards with beds in. Most of you, very few of you have had portholes on the other one.
All right, so I think our first order of business is to go sign for those objects and get them delivered, and then what do you guys think? Maybe go talk to that professor?
Yeah, I think we can do. What time is it?
Yeah, what time is it?
It's about 11:15 in the morning.
Well, we have all 2 days.
Well, we could go talk to him tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe we should call ahead and make sure that he knows that we're here and
That's a good point.
make an
could wire.
appointment.
Well, bear in mind as well that it's the 15th of August, so it's a Friday.
What is that sound?
It's somebody rolling dice.
And you're leaving on the Sunday. Which is
Right.
the-
So we should probably go speak with him first then, because otherwise we're not going to be able to get to him. But we should definitely call ahead first, wire ahead.
Right.
Well, I mean, you could quite easily go and sign for the documents. Let's go and sign for the deliveries, which won't take very long, and it's going to take them I mean, it's going to take them a while to get around to doing the deliveries.
Right.
Then it's going to take them a while to do the deliveries. So, I mean, you've got easily 3 or 4 hours before you've got to be back on the ship to check them. So you could quite easily do both jobs.
Yeah, I mean, that works.
And if we just skirt over the signing of the papers in that way, it means there's one less accent for me to do. Which
Yes,
can't be bad.
Get the paper signed and go see if the professor is in, I hope.
Well, I mean, you've got an address for him, and
Well, maybe we can just drop over there before we hit the hay for the evening.
Good plan. We do that.
okay. How do you intend to get there?
Well, maybe we should do that next time.
Good point.
Okay. Well, let's say then that you've visited the Port Authority office and the Customs office. You've signed for your supplies, and you're now leaving the docks to find a route to get to this address at the university, and we'll leave it there for today.
Excellent.
All right.
Our players included Jen Coulter, Corey Heisted, Sean Little, Thomas McKeon, Jeff Wilkins, and myself with Mick Swan as the Keeper of the Secrets. Please consider visiting our Patreon site. If each of you contributed just $2 or $3 a month, we would be able to cover our expenses without any problem. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production. In order to create a richer listener experience, we provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. Our musical intro, Birch Run Primal Drive, was composed by our good friend Kevin MacLeod and is used royalty-free under a Creative Commons Attribution license. Feel free to send us comments on the show. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed our broadcast, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for updates on our latest shows. You'll find links to everything I mentioned in the description below. This is Tom Rayleigh, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.